ligado tem interesse em saber detalhes sórdidos sobre operações escusas do governo americano em países estrangeiros, em territórios inimigos, nós conversamos com Jeremy Scahill, roteirista e protagonista de um documentário muito legal que dá uma pincelada sobre algumas dessas situações. E agora você confere um pouquinho do nosso bate-papo com ele. Quem fez essa entrevista foi o Edu Fernandes.
So your movie is about a difficult topic about secret military actions, and here in Brazil we have this issue too, but with the civil population in our own country. Do you think we Brazilians can relate to your documentary?
Absolutely. I mean, first of all, if you look at what's happening right now in Brazil, on the one hand, internationally, President Dilma is attacking the United States for its spy program. And I think she's right in what she's saying. The United States was spying on Brazilian political leadership, was working with Brazilian telecommunications companies to take the data of Brazilians, was involved with this scandalous surveillance about Petrobras. So she's right, and what she said at the United Nations, she's right. But her government also is attacking pro-democracy activists. The security forces here are beating people. The police do raids. The same kinds of policies that America has around the world, in Yemen, Afghanistan, Pakistan. In a smaller way, the Brazilian government does similar things. Many governments do this. So I think in that sense, it's the context in Brazil right now. This film will be helpful to people. But I also think in a broader context about Latin America or South America, the policies that America is implementing in its war on terror around the world are also going to be used in the so-called war on drugs, in Latin America, in counterinsurgency operations, in trying to defend the interests of big corporations against the people. So in a way, our film, I think, is a history lesson for what's going to come down in the future, in Brazil and elsewhere.
Mm-hmm. And did you have any personal problem with the touching this so delicate matter? People call you and threaten you, something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing this kind of work for a long time, and you get death threats. My computer was hacked at one point. I stole documents. But mostly it's that the U.S. government tries to prevent you from speaking to people who can give you real information. They just want you to take their word and not have any independent sources. So right now in the United States, there's a war against journalism. People who are in government that are giving information to journalists, they're prosecuting them. They're charging them criminally. They're doing surveillance against journalists that do this kind of work. So all of us have had to become kind of like information warriors to protect our sources and to protect our data. So everyone is using encryption. People are talking in person instead of on the phone. A few years ago, I started using encryption only. When I'm communicating with any sources or about anything sensitive. We saw what happened to David Miranda, Glenn Greenwald's partner, who was detained in Heathrow Airport. Mm-hmm. I was here at the time that happened, and I was staying with Glenn and David. And this is a Brazilian citizen who was taken by British authorities under an anti-terrorism law. This is a university student who has no connection whatsoever to terrorism. Mm-hmm. They were targeting him because of who his partner is. And to me, that's a part of the war against journalism. And I think to many Brazilians it was offensive. I think there was a racism about it too. There have been white people from Europe and elsewhere that have done exactly what David did, and they haven't gotten stopped. So I think they thought, oh, he's from Brazil. No one's going to care. Mm-hmm. But people care.
Yes, people are caring a lot now. And what is your next step now?
That's it. I've been a journalist my whole adult life, and this is who I am as a person. I'm not one person at home and another one in my work. It's my whole life. I don't see it as a job. So I'm going to continue to try to tell stories about ordinary people and how they're affected by war. But I also think the role of journalists in a democratic society is to hold their own government accountable. But I think Brazilian journalists should hold their government accountable, whether it's right or left-wing government. Mm-hmm. The same is true in the United States. So I'm going to keep doing journalism and We have some stories that I'm working on with Glenn Greenwald, but if I told you, I'd have to kill you.
Okay, thank you.
When you are fighting with enemy, any option is open. No mercy. America knows war. They are war masters.